Welcome to Southdown's annual report for 2014 and 15. We are a specialist organisation in that although we're a housing association, rents only account for 15% of our income. The other 85% come in through the care and support contracts that we provide across Sussex. Over the past year, we provided services to over 8,500 people across Sussex through a wide variety of different types of services. Although there's quite a lot of diversity in the types of services we provide, there is a common core to what we're trying to achieve, and that's based on the values of our organisation. Our aim is to provide community-based support solutions to enable people to develop the skills and confidence to help overcome their own personal challenges and to achieve their own goals. It has been a challenging environment over the past year, not only because of the funding pressures that we've faced, but also at a time of increased pressure and demand for lots of people wanting to receive our services. In addition to this, there's been quite a lot of increase in the regulation for us as a sector, both from our regulator, the Homes and Communities Agency, but also from the Care Quality Commission. Despite it being a challenging year for Southdown, it's also been a very busy and successful year for us. And during this annual report, hopefully you'll get to hear about some of the elements that have made us successful. Some of these feature on our ability to be a robust and financially stable business, also the fact that we continue to invest in innovation, and increasingly we're also looking to actually make sure that we can evidence the outcomes and success of the services that we deliver. Key to all of this is also checking in with our clients, commissioners, stakeholders and staff about the quality of the services that we provide.
Southdown are landlord for 630 people, and my role as head of housing is to oversee the housing division, just to make sure that our properties are well managed and well maintained. Over the last year, we've developed 16 new units of accommodation, the conversion of a domestic dwelling into an 11-room care home, and the conversion of a house into 6 flats for people moving off the streets and moving into accommodation for the first time. Our aim in redevelopment is to have high quality, warm, safe, secure accommodation that gives the foundation for people to move on with the rest of their lives. I oversee the work of the Housing Management and Property Services team, so we can make sure that our properties are well managed and maintained, and that repairs are attended to quickly and to a high standard.
We have continued to provide support to over 215 adults with a learning disability in Sussex. 60% of the people that we support have additional complex needs, either behaviour support needs or physical disabilities. In order to ensure that we provide care and support in line with best practice, we have continued to develop our use of positive behaviour support, or PBS for short. We have a PBS team who work alongside staff teams to understand the reasons behind a client's behaviour, develop a tailored support plan, and then work with those staff role modelling best practice in how to support that individual in a consistent way. One of the highlights this year has been the opening of Winford House, our new 11-person care home in Seaford. The property was developed in recognition that many of our smaller care homes no longer met the needs of our current clients, potential future clients, or the needs of our commissioners. And this is particularly in relation to the need for accessible accommodation with ensuite facilities at a rate that provided value for money for our commissioners.
We're supporting round about 8,000 people a year. And that's a growing number of people. And I think what's significant about that is that the complexity of the individuals that we're dealing with is increasing. So we've got a kind of dual problem going on here with people's increasing needs and also the the difficulties in finding funding, the economic environment that we're working in means that the funding available for those people is being constrained. So it's almost like a perfect storm in that sense. So some of the highlights last year include the transformation of the mental health services in Brighton and Hove. And one of the fundamental things there is the Recovery College and Recovery Service, which used to be quite an institutionalised response to mental health, and now is a very innovative, very thought-provoking range of services offered to individuals. We've also introduced a number of new services. We've won a number of new bits of business in the mental health service last year. So we've got the Peers in Partnership service, which offers peers the opportunity to get involved in the commissioning of services. We've also got our social prescribing service, which located in a GP's surgery. So the interesting thing about that is that co-location of services, integrating health and social care with our service has been very successful in reducing the amount of people that attend GP's surgeries. So it's a cost-saving measure as well for the health service, which of course in these days is all important. And then we've got another new service called Ambitions, which started in October last year, and that's working with carers. And obviously carers provide a key role in society, saving a lot of money in terms of care budgets because they're supporting vulnerable people, usually loved ones and relatives, but they're supporting those vulnerable people in the communities. Often to their own detriment. What Ambitions does is work with those carers to help them find a niche and a role and help them to sustain their own lives. So that their own ambitions are not being neglected through their role as carers. And the other thing we've done a lot of work around last year in our mental health provision is around drugs and alcohol, the substance misuse agenda, which often goes hand in hand with mental health. So in terms of housing support, our role as a floating support organisation has been growing consistently over the last few years. And we have huge teams of people, large teams of people located in both East and West Sussex, commissioned at the moment by Supporting People. And Supporting People has a very clear criteria about the quality of services that they expect us to deliver. And in our East service, we have a big service called Homeworks, and Homeworks has achieved an incredible straight A results across all of their different parts of their service last year. So it's an interesting time for care and support services right now, because of the changes in the way that funding works and the fact that local authorities are looking to make a lot of savings and deal with a lot of vulnerable needs. And I think it's a real opportunity for Southdown now to position ourselves in a way which helps local authorities to tackle that range of needs.
Southdown employs over 950 staff, and we know that staff are our greatest asset, and we hear that from both our stakeholders and the clients who they support. We aim for Southdown to be a positive, enjoyable place to work. We set high expectations of our staff, but provide thorough training and ongoing support with the aim for everyone to reach their individual potential, as well as feel a sense of pride in the role that they are undertaking. Going forward, we know it's going to continue to be a challenging environment for Southdown, but we're confident and optimistic that by working with our commissioners, we will be able to come up with different solutions to enable us to be successful in the future as well.